Hey folks, Tom Vasel here, and this is the 10th year that I am doing my top 100 games of all time. Let me give you a little bit of backdrop. 10 years ago, I was flown to Malaysia to be the special guest of honor at a convention, which was really kind of crazy because all I had been doing was writing some reviews on the internet. And when I came over, I said, what do you want me to do? And they wanted me to do a seminar on teaching people about games, and they said, and why don't you tell us your top 100 games? And I thought, are you kidding me? Top 100 games? So the whole airplane ride there, I worked on my top 100 games. And it was so much fun to do. And I had such a good time that I continued to do it year after year. And a few years later, I started doing it as a video list. And I'm continuing to do that now. Now the top 100 has grown. I'm not the only person. Just the past 5 weeks, you've seen Zee Garcia and Sam Healey do their top 100 lists. Last year, you saw Ryan Metzler and Eric Summer do their top 100 lists. And the same time that I'm doing mine, you'll see Dan King do his top 100 list. In fact, let's hear from him now.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Well, here's the beginning of a journey. A 5-week journey that you and I are going to share together as I share with you what my favorite top 100 games of all time are. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to make a top 100 list. It's way harder than it sounds. The hardest part for me was the very cutoff at 100. Gosh, there's so many games that kept coming on and off the end of that list at the end. And then, you know, in the middle range, it's like splitting hairs. It's like, well, they're all very good. How do I make one, you know, 52 versus 51 or 38 versus 39? Those are really tough choices too. They're all sort of, you know, in the same ballpark when you're doing that. So if you're not familiar with me, my background is that I'm a professional engineer. I work for a software company. So the types of games that I typically like are very logical. I love games that have deduction in them. I love games that have negotiation in them. I like economic games. I like Euro games if, and it's a big if, they either have a lot of theme in them or mostly have a lot of interaction with other players with them. I don't like typically the straight Euro type of games where sometimes you may feel like it's like playing efficiency solitaire. I like games with a lot of interaction, so I do like a lot of hybrid Euro and what they call Ameritrash or Amerithrash type of games. So those types of games I do like, and the types of games, which ones don't I like? I don't typically like a lot of war games, so I think you only see one war game on this whole entire list. I don't like fantasy themes. I'm kind of a different gamer in that regard. I know a lot of you love fantasy themes. I don't typically like those. You will see some exceptions to some of these lists that I'm talking about now. Same thing with sci-fi. I know you're gonna hate me right off the bat. Don't shut me off yet. I'm not real big on sci-fi. I'm not real big on superheroes and licensed things. When it comes to theme, I'm about as different as most stereotypical gamers as they come. I like unique themes. I like things that are realistic. I like historic themes. I like fun themes. You know, I don't like the too serious type of stuff. I do like the games that my sweet spot, I'd say, is in that 60-minute area of time that it takes to play a game where it's not too complex to teach the rules, but yet there's a decent amount of depth there. That's typically where my sweet spot is. You will see some games that last 2 to 3 hours on my list, but again, those will be sections. So those are the types of games I like and which ones I don't like. From all the people on the Dice Tower, you've seen top 100 lists from Tom Vasel, from Sam Healey, Zee Garcia, Ryan Metzler, and Eric Summer over the last year or two. And I would say my tastes probably mostly closely line up with Zee Garcia's in that game. Now, granted, you're not going to see probably any obscure out-of-print games, or maybe a couple that are out of print, but you'll probably have heard of them. But my tastes align up with him. Shorter games, thematic, things like that. So that's pretty much about me, what I like, what I don't like, and what to kind of expect on the list. And I look forward to seeing you over the next 5 weeks.
Well, thank you, Dan. I think every time I talk to people, they say it's so hard and stuff. I actually really like doing a top 100 list. Let me tell you a little bit about how I do it. First of all, I look at my collection. For the most part, if a game is in my collection, there's a chance that it's going to be on my top 100 list because I only keep the best of the best games in my collection. So I make a list of those games. I also include any other games that I might really like, but a friend of mine has it, so there's no reason for us to have duplication. I write down any game that might be possible in a top 100 list, and I write them down on cards. Here's some example cards. These are not games that are in my top 100. You say, but don't you like Nothing Personal? You designed it? Well, I do, and it probably would be in my top 100 games, but I don't feel it's good to put my own game that I designed in the top 100. So here I have some games, Nothing Personal, Hearts, Risk. So there's a couple ways that I do this, but the easiest way that I do it is I shuffle all the cards. And when I'm done shuffling the cards, I'll take two cards and I'll compare them to each other. And let's say Crossfire and Yahtzee. And so which one do I like better? Oh, Crossfire for sure. So I'll put Crossfire over here and Yahtzee over here. Then I have Life and Monopoly. Tough call, but I think I put Life better than Monopoly. And then I have Hearts and Nothing Personal. Well, I like Nothing Personal better than Hearts. And then Weapons and Warriors and Clue. Oh, definitely Weapons and Warriors. And then I have Uno and Risk. Risk. Okay? Then I take the pile of the ones that were good, and I'll go through those. And I'll say, okay, I'll shuffle them, and then I'll get, okay, Life and Nothing Personal. Well, Nothing Personal is better than Life. And then I'll get Risk and Crossfire. So, well, Crossfire is better than Risk. And Weapons and Warrior, I'll say, which pile do I want that to go in? The better pile. So now I have a middle pile, and then I do the same thing over here. Uno and Clue. Well, I like Clue better, so I'll put that here, and Uno in the lower pile. Hearts and Monopoly. I like Hearts better. And then Yahtzee, which pile? I'll put it in the middle pile. So now I have the best, the middle, and the worst. So I have best, middle, and worst. And I keep doing that until I have many small piles of cards. Then I'll take the first pile of cards and say, okay, Weapons and Warriors. Start. Crossfire. Better than Weapons and Warriors or worse? Crossfire is fun to shoot the little marbles, but Weapons and Warriors, I shoot them across the room. So that's better. And then Nothing Personal, well, I like that better than Weapons and Warriors. So here I have 1, 2, 3. Then I take the next group and say Yahtzee. And I just go all the way down. Not better than Nothing Personal, not better than Weapons and Warriors. Not better than Crossfire, so it goes down there. Hearts, well, that's better than Yahtzee, so I'll stick that there. Clue, and so on and so forth, until eventually I have them all in a very nice, neat, ordered list. Then I go through the list, and I compare all the ones that are next to each other, just in case I'm like, no, that one doesn't go there, I'll put it back a little bit farther. And then I compare it to my list from last year. I don't even look at last year's list, so I'm done with this year's list. Just think, I don't want to be swayed by it, but there's also a possibility that there's a game that's in a case somewhere and I forgot about it, and I'll go, okay, that one fits in here. So then I have it. So then we release them 10 twice a week. So you'll see, like Dan said, 5 weeks worth of this. And as soon as this video is being posted, we're putting up our 100 to 91. And every Wednesday you'll see that. Every Friday you'll see another top 10 list. And we'll do that until we're finished. I do them differently each year. Some years I have my kids introduce the numbers. Some years I have Sam and Z. This year it's just going to be me talking about the games. I thought about doing some spectacular thing for the 10th time I've done this. But just straight from me to you. What do I think about these games and why are they in the top 10 100 list? I hope you enjoy it. I have some comments about the list as a whole, but I don't want to give away too much that's on it. I will say that there were several games that were replaced by their better versions that came out this year. There were several new games, some that went up really high on the top 100 list. Other than that, though, let's just go and see what it's like. I'll see you guys there. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks Dan King for joining us on this journey through our top 100 games of all time.